Well, I had a lovely day yesterday, Sunday. I was at my new church in Cambridge, and they were at their best. They don't know me too well, and they were at their most welcoming, and the worship team just actually appreciated my awful presence in the front row, full-on worshipping. I dread to think how one or two people are taking it that lurk in the shadows further back in the church. Those that were vocal and forthcoming to me were so accepting, so welcoming, so encouraging. But you have to know the reality of things, that further down the track, they will throw you out. You'll be too much for them. And it's best to move on before that happens. You know, Jesus moves on before that happens. He says, I go to the Father. I have actually finished the work. I'm not here to take you every step of the way. That's the work of the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, and I'll send him to you. He speaks only of himself, and he dwells within you. They can't cast him out. He's established within you when he comes. I prepared the way for him. I am the way. And he comes to you when I leave. And he will abide with you forever. In fact, it is his Spirit that makes your eternal presence in heaven so right, so eternal. Because he speaks only of the Father in you. Always. So, I shall move on from this church, if I'm wise, before they crucify me. Like the last one. The other one, it was a slow death. I left there in the end, and I can't remember before that. I mean, in the world you'll have persecution. There's no need to stay around to be crucified. You're actually better going to the other sheep. They need your blessing too. And Jesus may say my sheep, but what he means is whatever the Father's is his. Whatever his is the Father's. All mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I'm glorified in them. Wow. We glorified in those that we minister to. Wow. But we remind ourselves, he does a greater thing in you than through you. He does a greater thing in us than through us. Why are we so privileged? Because he loves us. And we're so glad that he's taught us to love him, our Dad. Thank you, Dad. Do you know that is my battle with my little girl? She spends a lot of time with her mum, and her mum's not not the magnificent angel she was when I married her before Aria's birth, to say the least. dwell on that though, I get upset. But I have a battle. I don't see Arya, my daughter, enough to have some continuous overwhelming presence with her. And, overwhelming in the lovely way that a parent wants to love and care for. And that falls to Mum, and therefore she reflects Mum, and at times when she just won't talk and she's not appreciative of Dad. But that's understandable. We don't take offence. We don't judge, because she's my little girl. And I work steadily to be an alternative example to her. An alternative loving kindness. It's not overwhelming, that sort of welcome that you get when you come into a church that tries to love you into membership instantly, which Mum's very good at. It's a more long-standing, earnest, hopefully of integrity, of wanting her life eternal, which Mum no longer embraces in her understanding, doesn't entertain it. So I entertain it for my daughter. And I'm there to instill, I was going to say, that in her too, that she has life eternal. And should I die before Mum, which you would think so since Mum's half my age, she may well be responsible for bringing Mum back into life eternal. I don't know. But whatever it is, I trust God for it. And I trust God for the life that Arya's being given by God too. You would think a broken home is the worst thing in the world. But the tragedies I went through in my childhood were not the worst thing in the world. Or at least they may have been the worst thing in the world to me then. But now glory. Now blessing as a consequence. I've learnt what the fruit of evil is, and I don't like it, and I won't have anything to do with it. And my longing is for God. And perhaps that's your witness, your confession, your testimony too. Bless you. And even if it isn't, it will be. Bless you. You see, you can thank God for every difficulty, because it's the difficulties that propel you into arms of God, your Dad. But you don't have to come that way. You could just look upon all that's good and lovely and be drawn to Him out of joy and gratitude. It's a much easier way to come, and I do commend it to you. But if you want to come the crucifixion way of Christianity, the religion, well, as is the shrine, so is the worshipper. And that's the way God has it. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.